So welcome everyone. I'm Stephen Miller, and I'm hosting the NCyTE member meetings every month. And so I'm a professor and director of Cybersecurity Center of Excellence for Eastern New Mexico University at Ruidoso, New Mexico, and co-PI for the National Cybersecurity Training and Education Center. So we welcome everyone. You want to go to the next slide, Mike? So we have some new members that have joined, some high schools. They're listed on here. I'm not going to read through each one of those, but we continue to grow in our membership. I can't, remember where we're at on membership right now, Mike? It's over 400, right?
Yeah, we're over 400.
Yeah. So welcome. If any of you all are on from one of these institutions, you can unmute yourself and just introduce yourself.
Well, I'll add, when we're talking about members or member institutions, that's not individual members. So
No, that's right. It's member institutions. That's correct. So any member of your institution can also join and sign in as a member. Okay. Well, today we're honored to have Lynn Dome. She is the executive director for the WiCyS, the Cybersecurity Workforce Reimaged organization. And I'm going to just turn this over to Lynn. Lynn and I've been in several activities together, and she's done some marketing for us as well. But I'll turn it over to you and let you proceed with your giving us all this great information about a great organization.
Great. Thank you, Stephen. And thank you, Mike. And look at that. I didn't even plan it this way, but I'm wearing the same blazer that I wore in this photo. So, we'll just say that it was planned like that I wanted to keep it cohesive. So thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Lynn Dome. I'm Women in Cybersecurity Executive Director. We often go by our acronym WiCyS, and we spell it WiCyS, pronounced WiCyS like we sisters, because that's exactly what we are. We are a cyber sisterhood. And could everyone see my screen okay? You see it? I'm going to play it from the start. There we go. All set? All good there? All right. So we go by the pardon me?
We see your screen. Does everybody else see your screen?
Yes, that's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now we see the second slide, so it's good.
Okay. Yes. So like I mentioned, that we pronounce ourselves, but go by our acronym, and we pronounce it WiCyS like we sisters. And that's exactly what we are. We are a cyber sisterhood. And as you can see, WiCyS has a very large table where each and every one of us has a seat where we belong. Whether you're entering this conversation as a student or as a faculty or as an academic advisor, we have a place within WiCyS for those that are newly available to the cybersecurity workforce and those that are advancing in their career because of it. We have over 5,400 members of women, men, allies, and advocates that all have a strong mission and passion to recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity. And we do so because we care about the cybersecurity workforce. We care about the security of ourselves, of others, of our family members, about the companies that we work for and the organizations that we care about. So prior to 2014, it's hard to believe that there wasn't any strong inclusion and diversity initiative in the cybersecurity workforce. And at that time, there was only 11% women in cybersecurity. And although we've made progress by doubling our numbers, close to 20 and 24% of women in cybersecurity, you could see on the screen that the need and the demand for the cybersecurity workforce to be filled has more than tripled, with the projection of there being 4.3 million unfilled jobs in 2023. And we all know that the gender balance challenges have always existed within the workforce and with any other technical area of expertise as well. And whether it be lack of awareness, unconscious bias, microaggressions in the workplace, there's all sorts of reasons why women are struggling in the cybersecurity workforce in particular. So in 2014, Dr. Amberine Siraj decided to do something about that. And she reached out to the National Science Foundation to receive some seed funding to host the first ever Women in Cybersecurity conference. And why did she do that? Because when she was a student studying cybersecurity and loving what she was studying, she realized that she was one of very few other, if any other, women in the classroom. And when she became a professor at Tennessee Tech University, she also realized that the ratio didn't change. There was no progress made. She was still one of few, if any, other women in the classroom. So she reached out to NSF to get women to come together and speak cybersecurity together and to connect and collaborate and make something happen because of it. And from there, a community was formed. NSF awarded Dr. Amberine Siraj $70,000 with the anticipation of that being enough money for her to engage 250 women in cybersecurity. Dr. Siraj, being the trailblazing woman that she is, was able to take that money and engage 900 women. 350 women attended 2014, 550 attended 2015. From there, with a lot of hard work, networking, connecting, and collaborating with the right companies, right communities, and organizations, she continued to fund and grow that conference to where we were at last year with 1,315 attendees. We just hosted our 2022 conference, so I don't have the image up here yet. We don't even have the photographs ready. But 2022 was in Cleveland, Ohio, and we were at 1,700 attendees. We owe all that thanks to our conference sponsors, which we hit a record high of 121 companies and organizations funding and supporting the WiCyS conference, including NCyTE, and we appreciate those contributions. So at WiCyS 2022, we had over 1,500 regular attendees and 200 recruiters. But what makes the WiCyS conference so unique is that, yes, we are the flagship conference for women in cybersecurity, and we do remain a significantly large women in cybersecurity conference. However, regardless of gender, we are the only cybersecurity conference that ensures equal representation of students and professionals. And how we do that is for every single regular registrant, WiCyS issues out a female cybersecurity student scholarship. So for this conference, we had 1,500 regular registrants. 750 of those were professionals, 750 were students, and 200 were recruiters. And that's what makes the energy, the vibe, this community, the networking, the collaboration so unique to the WiCyS organization, is because of that equal representation of students and professionals. I know when I'm at the WiCyS conference, I certainly want to tap into all the energy that a 19 through 25-year-old brings forward at that event, and everyone is tapping into that vibe, that energy, and that excitement as well. At the WiCyS conference, we love this quote because Dr. Amberine Siraj always shares that we're not here to talk about the problem. We're here showcasing the spectrum of talent from a diverse group of professionals. So the WiCyS conference is a technical conference. And on top of having equal representation of students and professionals, we layer with it a comparable representation of industry, government, and academia. And we work very hard. We have a team of over 350 volunteers that makes this model happen. And every year we preserve the integrity of the model to ensure that we have it intact. We control the growth of the conference strategically and intentionally every year to make sure that this model doesn't lose sight. So we're pleased to announce that WiCyS 2023, it will be in Denver, Colorado. And I don't have the date up here, but it is March 16th through the 18th. And yes, we know, again, we'll be together for St. Patrick's Day, and Denver, Colorado is a very lovely place for all of us to gather. It will be in the Gaylord Rockies. But what I want to make note to everyone that's joined us for the webinar today is come August and September, we're going to be opening up our applications for those student scholarships. So students cannot just register to attend the WiCyS conference. They have to go through the scholarship application. In addition to that, we have faculty lodging grants, fellowship awards, veteran fellowship awards, and so much more. We're also going to have our call for participation open up around that time, and also for our posters and research sessions. But because our conference fills up so quickly and we have a wait list, in the hundreds, and the wait list continues to get filled even the morning of the conference starting, and we don't have any on-site registration available. We decided in 2018 to become a 501c3 member-based nonprofit. And now our mission is to recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity. And that is a really interesting life cycle because we're making a difference in building the pipeline of the cybersecurity workforce. We're here because we have 3.5 million unfilled jobs in cybersecurity. So yes, we could recruit all we want into the cybersecurity workforce, but the retention piece is critical. The retention needs to happen because you know as well as I know that the average woman steps out of her tech career at the age of 35. 50% of women step out of their tech careers after 5 years. That's an alarming statistic. So what we saw during the pandemic is even when there was hiring freezes, employers were coming to us to support us because they wanted to ensure that their top talent within their cybersecurity teams was being retained on their teams. And they knew that WiCyS had the community to help make that happen. We also provide advancement opportunities because part of that retention piece is that voices aren't heard. There's no advancement opportunities. Women get bored in their careers. And when they're not feeling happy, fulfilled, and in a trustworthy workforce, that's when stepping out and moving on happens. So with WiCyS, that life cycle of recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity is what makes us tick, and it's what makes our community going strong. So now we have over 5,400 members. We have representation in over 70 countries. We have 43 professional affiliates. Professional affiliates are little mini WiCyS organizations, and they're in Africa, Australia, Canada, France, India, Pakistan, the UK, and all throughout the United States. And we also have 212 professional affiliate leaders that are running this professional affiliate entity, making wonderful things happen because of it. We also have 150 student chapters. That is 150 student chapter presidents that have stepped up, taking a leadership role within WiCyS to have that recruitment into their cybersecurity programs on their campus. But not only that, to cultivate the community on their campuses to make sure that women know that there's a place where they belong in the cybersecurity workforce. And that starts with the community at their community college, or university. It also means that we have 150 WiCyS student chapters that have faculty advisors that have stepped up and say, yes, I am here to support the community on the campus. And I know that this is going to make an impact in those that we touch. So we have the student chapters right here all lined up. And I want to bring awareness that the student chapter program within the WiCyS organization is very well funded. We manage it and we provide resources and information for it. So every student chapter, when they're approved and launched, receives $500 seed funding. But in addition to that, we also have ongoing yearly funding. We provide swag for campus-wide events, and we prioritize students, the student chapter leaders, in the scholarships for the recipients of the conference scholarships. On top of that, there's this massive leadership role within the WiCyS organization. And when I get to the internship program, you'll see that that program was developed from the student chapter presidents coming to us initially. So since our mission is to recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity, we do so by providing opportunities. We have a member portal where all our members can network and connect. Within our member portal, we have special interest groups such as Latinas in cybersecurity, neurodiversity in cybersecurity, cybersecurity law, data privacy. It's a place for that and so many other conversations. So you could join any special interest groups you would like to join, but you could also launch one that you want to start a conversation with yourself. We have skill development training programs, newsletters, annual conferences, all this and so much more. And I'm going to be going through all that. So I'm going to pass through this slide. So let's start with the WiCyS Skill Development Training Program. It was originally launched in 2020 by Google. When we canceled the 2020 conference, March 5th at 3:00 in the afternoon, Costas will know that that date and time will forever be etched in my brain. The conference was to happen March 12th through the 14th, but on March 5th, that morning of, the executive committee met at 9:00 in the morning. And we said, absolutely, we are going to host this conference in 2020. COVID is not going to impact this conference. And by 3:00 in the afternoon, that conference was no longer viable because of all the travel restrictions and all the different arrangements going on with the conference sponsors. So we canceled the conference. In less than 5 weeks, we were able to launch into a virtual conference. We've never done a virtual conference before, but yet we were able to engage 1.2 thousand women in cybersecurity virtually in a virtual conference setting. And through 3 days, our hashtag WiCySVirtual20 reached 8 million people globally. So although the pandemic really did hit us hard with canceling an in-person event, it was able for us to break down these barriers that we've had and reach the global cyber sisterhood that we've always intended to do. COVID-19 just helped make that happen sooner. So Google liked what we did with the virtual conference, and they said, hey, let's develop a training program that could keep the momentum for women going strong, not only a way for women to enter into the cybersecurity workforce, but to enhance their careers right now and to leverage themselves in a way that we've never done before. And so we launched the very first security training scholarship, and we partnered with SANS Institute. We had 900 enroll in the program. It was a multi-tiered, multi-staged program. So no matter where folks dropped off in the program, they were always walking away with the learning experience and something for them to grow and develop and enhance further. So it boiled down to 15 final scholarship recipients that received advanced certifications. And in less than a year, every single one of them were employed in cybersecurity. I'd like to point out here that this Hema Pillai right in the middle, she was a stay-at-home mom for 15 years, heard of the word cybersecurity. A month before, she saw the training scholarship pop up on her LinkedIn profile because someone made a comment about it. She thought, hey, I'm going to go for this. This sounds interesting. She had the aptitude, the grit, the determination, and she excelled in it because of it. And in less than a year, she was in the workforce, fully employed in a cybersecurity career. That's life-changing. So Google, of course, liked it. Bloomberg and Meta, formerly Facebook, joined forces and they scaled it. Again, we opened up applications. We had over 900 enroll, and it boiled down to 40 final recipients. All these recipients are in their last stage of their final certifications, and we anticipate them to be employed in cybersecurity in less than a year as well. So these women took a risk on themselves when started a journey that would devote their time and attention and time away from their weekends and their free time. They are either working full-time jobs or studying in their programs that they're studying, or working part-time, or they have children, or they're caretakers, and what have you, all that and so much more. But in 1 year, they invested in themselves, and their career was absolutely elevated because of it. We also have an employer partner program with the Veterans Apprenticeship Program. So it was long talked about, WiCyS wanted to have a Veterans Apprenticeship Program, and how do we make that happen? We partnered with one of our strategic partners, SmoothStack. Employer partners SentinelOne and Bloomberg raised their hand to join forces and said, yes, we'll provide apprenticeships for WiCyS members because of it. And because of that, we had 16 final WiCyS veteran apprentices in that program. And from there, they were all placed in 2-year apprenticeships. Our Mentormentee Program was launched in 2020, and we did this to bridge the gap because we know many different mentoring programs with all great intentions. Mentors sign up wanting to be a mentor, but not necessarily having the leadership or the coaching skills to mentor and develop deeper into that relationship that's going to make an impact in others. So we designed a curriculum to upskill and uplevel women, no matter where they're at in their career or studies, to prepare them for their next level of advancement. Essentially, we coach the mentors into a mentoring program with the curriculum bridging the gap for them to overcome the sometimes uncomfortable beginning stages of a mentor-mentee relationship, focus on the curriculum, and naturally the conversation of cybersecurity comes from there. It's a 12-month program and applications will be opening up again in the fall. Right now, we have 185 mentors in the program and 750 mentees. The program, like all things WiCyS, is designed in a cohort setting because WiCyS is an overarching community, but everything that we do is about cultivating a community within the community. We're overarching, but we have student chapters, so there's a community on the campus. We have professional affiliates, so there's a community in that region. We also have a mentor-mentee cohort because everyone grows and expands in their career. They have this network that now they're a part of and a community that they can lean in on based on their shared experience. We have all that and so much more. Our WiCyS internship program was put into place because our student chapter presidents came to us during one of our meetings and said, hey, we're just feeling application burnout. We're going from portal to portal. And here you have all these strategic partners. We have 53 strategic partners that fund us with year-round benefits. But we're going from their internship portal to their internship portal, and we're filling out all this information. It's hours of time. It's all the same information in each different portal. And sometimes they hear back, sometimes not. They don't know if they're getting that clearly communicated that they're part of the WiCyS community. Anyways, we listened because it's been forever since I was in my internship. And certainly I wasn't applying online when I was applying for my internships way back when. So this was interesting to me. And we sat there and we heard what our student chapter presidents were sharing with us. And we took it back to our strategic partners and said, this is what we're hearing on our end. What's your experience on yours? And Carnegie Mellon Software Engineering Institute, Bloomberg, Google, Meta, Optum, all those, SentinelOne, they all said, yes, we're feeling that pain on our side too. We understand that. So how could we bridge a gap? So we had employer partners, Bloomberg, Carnegie Mellon Software Engineering Institute, Optum, and SentinelOne step up for us to pilot an internship program. We took all their internship job requirements and we developed one application. On top of that, we layered on a cyber aptitude assessment called CyberGenIQ. And then from there, we provided those employer partners that you see on the screen a short list of our WiCyS members that would fill their job role with based on their aptitude assessment and based on all the criteria of their application. And we also send them our student members' resumes. So we bridged that gap. We short stacked it for our employer partners. And we made sure that every WiCyS member that applied was walking away with something. One, effective communication, saying, hey, you've moved on to these employer partners. Two, if they didn't get the internship, which was the ultimate goal, but as you could likely imagine, we had way more applicants than we had internship opportunities. So they were walking away with their CyberGenIQ assessment. And we provided them with a webinar so they knew the what next. What skills should they build on? How should they navigate their career because of this aptitude assessment? And it helped give them focus, ambition, and determination from it. And everyone has that. Ask me about my CyberGenIQ assessment. If you search the WiCyS hashtag or Women in Cybersecurity or LinkedIn or Twitter, you'll see our members posting that. We also have the Cyber Fast Track cohort where everyone is participating in a cohort setting, going through the Cyber Fast Track. But what is really great about the WiCyS organization is that we know that emergencies happen, and we're here also to fund students that are within their last 4 semesters of graduating from college with their cybersecurity degree. If they have any financial emergency, like they can't afford their rent, they have a medical emergency, their car breaks down, we know that could derail them from their studies. And so we want to be able to not only support our community with the community and the resources that we have, but also financial support if there is a need there. So if someone had their car breakdown and they can't make it to their classes, they could apply and receive up to $599 within 48 hours of us receiving their application. And that's for them to bridge that gap, to get over the hump. And if you want to hear the stories from these individuals that have received it, go to our website under initiatives of the Cyber Talent Emergency Fund and see what an impact it's made in others' lives. Our Job Board Plus Plus is available for all our members to upload their resumes, update their profiles. Strategic partners have their booth, they post their jobs, they search from the database nonstop. And we owe all that thanks to our strategic partners. These are the partners that fund us with the year-round benefits within WiCyS. So we have our member portal, our website, we're able to do an internship program, a mentoring program because of the support and the commitment of these partners right here. Our Instagram takeovers is a way for our tier 1 and tier 2 partners to humanize what does the cybersecurity workforce look like. For those that have joined us today for the webinar, follow us on Instagram and get that raw version of it, that human element of having a VP of cybersecurity take over the WiCyS Instagram account, sharing her story all throughout the day, because we want to give everyone as much information about what the future of the workforce looks like, but also we want to give the opportunity so people can see what others can be, and that's the cybersecurity professionals that they are. Our Cyber Defense Challenge, made possible by Target, that is open for applications right now. This is a multi-tiered program, and at the end, the top 10 finalists will be able to report their findings to the Target security team. That team will prepare them for their presentations, and they will all receive, the top 10 will also receive WiCyS 2023 scholarships on top of that as well. Through this entire Cyber Defense Challenge, everyone is going through a multi-tiered program, and they're going to have one-on-one time with that cybersecurity team from Target too. The Mobilize program is newly launched. It just got up on our website right before the WiCyS conference. And this is for community college cybersecurity educators. If you're looking for extra resources or funding to mobilize your students, utilizing the Cyber Fast Track program, we are doing a request for proposals. So we want to hear, what do you need? What do you need to make your students, to initiate them to have more engagement and have that learning opportunity within Cyber Fast Track? And what would that funding be used for? Because we want to provide you the support and the funding for you to further take action with your students, excite them, mobilize them to be energetic and move forward in their careers because of that unique learning, engaging, gamified opportunity. And then we also have the Fall Virtual Career Fair coming up October 19th. So we have all this and so much more because we know that the diversity of thought matters in the cybersecurity workforce. In order to solve problems that have never previously existed before, you need all hands on deck. And cybersecurity teams need to be built with the power of the diversity of thought behind it. And that not only takes all genders, identities, it also has cultures, ethnicities, backgrounds, experiences, and so much more. So the more diverse of a cyber workforce, the more effective of a workforce, and the less you get away from that group think, and the more that you have multitasking, multidimensional personalities solving problems that have never previously existed before. So at WiCyS, we often say, together we thrive. And for us, it truly is the heart and soul of the organization, because as one woman rises, we continue to reach our hand out and make the space for others to rise as well. So we appreciate everyone joining us. I appreciate you all joining us here today for the webinar. And you could see that we have so many different places where you can engage with us. We have a webinar series. We have over 21,000 newsletter subscribers. We have upcoming events that are constantly rolled out. On our website, we have a calendar of events. We have an events section. We have all the different training programs. We have many different initiatives. You could find out about student chapters, the Cyber Fast Track program, our professional affiliates, all that and so much more. And we're all over social media as well. So I appreciate your time and attention, and I'm happy to stop sharing my screen and I can answer any questions anyone might have.
Thank you, Lynn. So any questions from anyone on the, Costas has his hand up.
Actually, Stan has his hand up. I just didn't bother yet. So Stan, I think, should go.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks. Thank you, Stephen. And thank you, Lynn. Fantastic presentation. So I just have two quick questions. One, I believe our university, Kane University here in New Jersey, does have a WiCyS chapter already in our computer science department. My question is it acceptable to have a second chapter? So the reason I ask is we have multiple cyber programs, and we've got a cybersecurity program in information technology, computer science, and in criminal justice. And so I sit in the criminal justice department. So I wondered whether there is the possibility for a second chapter. And if so, then I would try to recruit. You know, we have quite a few females in criminal justice, probably more so than our computer science department. So I just think it would be a really good possibility. So that's my first question. And my second is on the you mentioned neurodiversity. I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about some of those programs, because that is getting a bit more attention of recent. And I'd like to, especially it's around diversity, but it's obviously with those that may have other sorts of disorders. So I'm curious what those programs are that you have at WiCyS, and maybe an example.
Sure. So to answer your first question, very good question. And yes, it is possible to have another student chapter. If it's under a different department, we could clearly define that within their organization. We have a wonderful student chapter lead. He's Dr. Vitaly Ford, and he was Dr. Siraj's first PhD student that came out of the program. And he's the lead for the WiCyS student chapter. So his information is found on the website. And when you're ready to launch a student chapter, you just fill out the information that's on the WiCyS website, and he's able to take it from there. Then we include you all in the monthly meetings and brainstorming sessions and really get your program up and off the ground. We're here to support you to make sure that your student chapter is a success on your campus, and also that you could gather your community the best way. The second question is about neurodiversity. Yeah, neurodiversity. So WiCyS, we're all about gathering a community, and the neurodiverse community is very far and wide. I mean, there's so many neurodivergent individuals, and that's our superpower. That's our super strength. It's just the unique way that we view and navigate our way through the world. And so neurodiversity should be important to everyone, and supporting a community within any workforce effort should be part of that. So it was launched by our members. This is the Neurodiverse Special Interest Group. And it's a way for the community just to gather and be together. And they have many different speakers. It's on our calendar of events up there. They have many different speakers, engagements, meetups, just to share the shared experience of what is it like to be neurodivergent in the cybersecurity workforce? Because it's a great strength and a great power. But sometimes the challenges could be communication struggles, and how do some overcome those challenges? And they share that knowledge and strength with others. So it's all about the power of the community. We also have LGBTQ plus special interest groups. We have Latina special interest groups. We have military spouses, veterans, you name it. Any area. I just got a request? Oh, cyber law. They're interested in launching a cyber law affiliate. We have so many different areas of expertise where everyone is just wanting to find their community, to have that communication, and to further strengthen themselves from it. So you could find more neurodiversity information under our calendar of events. But as a member yourself, and if you launch a student chapter, you would have a free WiCyS membership. You could go into the member portal and find the Neurodiversity and Cybersecurity Special Interest Group and join it yourself, just to learn more.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Other questions? Costas, is your hand up, or you just have?
No, I wanted to make it formal. So it's kind of a suggestion. Lynn and I intersect in many different ways. We've worked together for many years in the National Cyber League, with National Cyber Watch Center, as you have, Stephen, and now with NCyTE and WiCyS. And I'm proud to say I'm on the board of WiCyS and absolutely support what Lynn has laid out. I have a suggestion, kind of since I work under the NCyTE umbrella as a consultant for programs, but at the same time, I'm a WiCyS board member, so I wanted to clarify and disclose that. Perhaps one of the most strong things to respond to Jen Easterly's challenge at WiCyS 2022. I don't know, Lynn, if you wanted to say a little bit about it, but it was an awesome thing to just see Jen Easterly, the head of CISA, which is kind of bubbling with enthusiasm, just feeding off Jen's energies. She laid down a challenge, and the challenge is to get 50% women by 2030. She laid that down publicly. And I think WiCyS is part of the challenge response. You know, how do we get there? So I'd like to suggest that maybe NCyTE is part of that challenge as well, because all of a sudden we heard of a strategy right here, right there, and Stan was part of it. If each NCyTE member created a WiCyS chapter, those that don't have it, we would go a long way towards fulfilling the dream that Jen Easterly has to have 2030 be a gender balanced year for cybersecurity professionals. It takes a long time. It's not 2022. We got to get going. So just a thought: what would incentivize an NCyTE member to develop a WiCyS chapter? Because that would allow us to begin to change the gender mix in the workforce with a very practical item. And it might excite the National Science Foundation ATE program that provides funding for NCyTE as well. I know that they're strongly kind of pressing us for kind of healing inequities and dealing with imbalances in the workforce. And this is a great one. And we've got Jen Easterly on our back. So just an idea, and we can take it anywhere you want. Thank you.
I like that, Costas. We ought to bring that up at the leadership meeting next time, put that on the agenda, Mike, make sure that gets on our agenda, we can talk about it. And talking about chapters. So I can tell you, Lynn, one of the things that's held us back at ENMU Rio Doce, and maybe this, you can clarify this, is that, as you know, our program is 100% online. So we don't have the luxury of meeting face to face, but we do meet, of course, in MS Teams and Zoom and on Canvas, which is our learning platform. It's not a problem if you have an online program and your students are participating in that way, right?
No, not a problem at all. No, not a problem. And what's nice is that a lot of student chapters collaborate with each other. So again, back to building a community within the community. When you have a student chapter lead and you have that president's invited to student chapter presidents meetings. So now that president is opening herself up to a whole new world of connecting and collaborating with other colleges and universities. On top of that, they're getting a scholarship to the conference. We let the conference speak for itself. I mean, you heard about the WiCyS 2022 hashtag reaching 16 million. If that's not proof of concept that the voice of the community and the global sisterhood is there, I don't know what is, because that's the power of it all with that far reach. So those student chapter presidents come together, and what they've done is leveraged one each other's strengths about supporting like the online meetups and how they could work together to do that. So being an online program and having a WiCyS online chapter is still bringing a community together, and it's also engaging and opening up the horizon for others to help expand those efforts too within there. So those student chapters have done very, very well, online student chapters.
Also, one of the follow-ups on that, I have an alumni student, and she's one of our most excellent students that we had. And we're in a rural area of New Mexico. There's only 22,000 people in the entire county, which is about the county is bigger than Rhode Island. And we're surrounded by the Lincoln National Forest and the Mescalero Apache Reservation. She is a single parent. She's making a transition from being a nurse to cybersecurity, wanting to be in cyber medical environment. But here's the problem: she's taking care of her parents that are not able to take care of themselves. Are there jobs available through WiCyS or a way that she could get internships from working remotely? I guess that's what she's been focusing on, that type of, and I've been trying to help her, but we've exhausted many ends to try to make this happen. But maybe I was thinking through WiCyS there might be some avenues there.
Yes, absolutely. Even with our internship program, some of those interns were available with remote positions. So that was part of the criteria that we did in that universal application that we put together, is if it was a remote position or if they have to relocate or what was the situation going on with that. So we do have those opportunities. Now, our internship program was piloted in February and March, and it was a great success. I think every one of those employers, they received a short list of the top 10 that would qualify for their position. And I know that they've all hired from the program more so than some more so than others. So we're absolutely thrilled with the results. Our goal is to now scale that program and open it up even more to all our strategic partners, because that piloted program, we only opened it up to tier 1 strategic partners. So now we want to open it up to more. So not only is that going to be launched this summer, and that's going to be preparing for internships. And the idea is, after a full successful launch, is that we'd make that available quarterly, and then we'd scale it in the future years about actual career positions, full-time positions. So that's our long-term goals with the program, but we're starting with the pilot, we're starting with the internship, and we're moving forward strategically from that point. We also have all our strategic partners, 53 or 55 of them, the strategic partner list that I showed you, there's plenty of them. They all have job postings in our Job Board++. So your student a student membership to WiCyS is $20 a year. And in some colleges, community colleges, they bulk purchase member. To me, I think that's the greatest thing ever. If a woman comes into your cybersecurity program and they automatically get a WiCyS membership, the retention is there. It shows them that the community cares and the community is created and they could rise up together. So to me, I even coming from the experience of my 21-year-old daughter stepped out of her engineering studies because she could never find her place. And it was so frustrating for me that the community just did not exist. It wasn't cohesive. It wasn't made available for her in such an easy to digest way. But if a woman is in your program and they automatically become a part of the WiCyS organization because of your program, look at that retention that it not only does for your school, but also for the success of that individual to thrive in their career because of it. And that student membership, that $20 student membership to the WiCyS Global Organization, she could upload her profile, upload her resume in that Job Board++. She could not only search jobs from there, but also it gives all our employer partners the opportunity to find her. They download those resumes. I think there's like 600 or 700 resumes in the job board right now, but it's a way for her to get that direct connection as a WiCyS member to our employer partners, because they are prioritized. They are marked in those portals. Even the security training scholarships, AWS, Google, they tag them WiCyS member. So it does give leverage and strength.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Well, then we want to thank you. This is a great presentation and this is a great organization. So many opportunities for women in cyber. Okay, we have a question. Ingrid, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and just ask the question? You're not
I think
unmuted.
maybe Indira, I think she was clapping, like,
I was just clapping. Yeah, I was just
Oh.
clapping. Great presentation. Thank you
Well,
very
I'm
much.
on
I do
my
not have
lap.
a question. I just got excited. I didn't know about WiCyS, so I know, and I'm looking forward for engaging more. I think I have a few questions and opportunities, so I will contact you, Lynn. Thank you very much. Great presentation.
oh, beautiful. And you know, I will put my email in the chat. It's lynn@wicis.org.
Okay.
And for anyone, if you have any questions at all, please reach out. We're happy to work with you and build out programs and to just listen to what your needs are and to see how WiCyS could fill that void. That community college Mobilize program, that request for proposals, that's open and available until June. So explore that further. Explore the student chapters. But if you have any questions at all, please just feel to reach out. And I really do appreciate the power of WiCyS stems from the community, and the community like NCyTE and all that you're doing to invest, even just taking the time and attention from your day to come here and listen to the WiCyS organization. It speaks volumes to the people that you are and the care that you have for your students and your programs. So I appreciate you spending time with me this afternoon, or this morning, going into afternoon, heading into your weekend, and just being a part of the momentum of that 50 times 30. That's what Jen Easterlin approached, 50% women by 2030. So 50 times 30, if you see that hashtag, if you see that growing around, that stems from Jen Easterly at WiCyS 2022 and her projected goals for women in cyber. So thank you for being a part of that strength and keeping the momentum strong. And we're so happy to partner with you all at any time, whenever you're ready.
Thanks.
Thank you, Lynn. Bye-bye. Have a good